Welcome back to the channel. Now we are on episodes 7 through 8 of Temptation Island, and the theme for me this time was clarity. Okay, I gained a lot of clarity, and did some of these couples really gain clarity? And what's the real motive here? Okay, let's get into it from a therapist perspective right about now. Now, I am, of course, your therapist reporting for duty at hand. Okay, we talk about relationships, attachment styles, mother wounds, daddy wounds, not daddy issues, daddy wounds. Okay, and so looking at this latest season of, is it a reboot? Is it a reboot, or is it the same old shit, just um, a new streaming service? Now, watching these episodes, I really want to talk more about Biron, Biron, B, and Shante. Okay. Because throughout these episodes, I'm like, it all makes sense now. Now, if you watch it from the perspective of someone just judging, being critical, not looking deeper, you will see one aspect of him. Okay. But then there's something that happens, towards the end of these two episodes. I'm like, oh, it makes sense. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark, because you be asking questions sometimes, even though I do know a lot of it is production. There are some times where you cosplay as a therapist. I don't really like that for most people, but this time you gave me some information, okay? Now, Shante. Some of y'all are trying to say she's on the spectrum, that she's neurodivergent. To me, she appears very numb. And I wonder about her own developmental things, childhood, relationship with her own parents that brought her to where she is now. Because seeing the things that he has done on camera, in her facial expression does not meet. The affect does not match what the emotion should be of realizing, seeing some of this stuff on camera, you know? And so I'm wondering if there's a place in here where she is very numb. I wonder if there is some neurodivergent stuff. I'm not going to say, ASD, because I don't specialize in that. I really don't like using labels. And I think sometimes those diagnoses are very heavy for people to realize. So that's for her own, self-assessment, and if she wants to do, get it assessed by a professional. But to me, watching her watch at that bonfire, him on camera doing these things, and how she's able to compartmentalize. Okay, my feelings are over here, what he did over here, reality, and us being on this island. That's how she's able to cope. And that's how a lot of you guys are able to cope, is through compartmentalizing the things that you have been through, your emotions, and sometimes the things your partners put you through. That's how you cope. And I think for her, this is how we have seen Shante cope throughout these episodes, is to detach herself from emotion. Because as you see her walking around, engaging with the new suitors in the villa, is there a lot of emotion? Is there a response? Does her affect and how she appears match what she is going through? It don't. It really doesn't. And I wonder for her, when things happen, when you go through things, how were you raised? How were you taught to emotionally regulate, to self-soothe, to relieve and calm your central nervous system? Because I'm looking at it from the outside. I don't know her. I've never worked with her. But it appears to me that maybe as a child, she was not taught to emotionally regulate. It was a mirror to her. Or it could be some more stuff going on up here, that she does not know how to assess, be emotional, and kind of bring those emotions to the surface. She doesn't know what or how to feel, that she feels nothing. And there are a lot of people out there like that. I don't know how to feel. I don't know what to say, so I feel nothing. I am numb. I've been walking around my whole life numb. Okay. And so she's like, he's only behaving this way because we are in this situation. Do I believe that? After watching these couple episodes, I must admit that, do I agree with that? No. But I do get a sense from him that I'm going to eat up this situation. I'm going to take advantage of it because I'm lost. And when you put me in front of things that are going to tempt me, when you put me in front of things that I've always wanted, why would I say no? Why would I say no? And you have a man here who, let's get into the deeper things. Okay. He says at the boys' bonfire, a lot of insight here, because this is a lot of men. So let's look at the profile demographic of him as a child. He was adopted by a white family. His parents were on drugs. Okay. He didn't have support. He went to college by himself. He was homeless, living in his car. And in that dynamic of that adopted household, a transracial adoption, how was blackness perceived? How was it taught? Were you living in a family where you had to assimilate into whiteness? Did you go to a PWI? What was the relationship like with the mother and the father in that household? And once you got 18, what happened? Did they kick you out? Did you stay? Those are the things I'm wondering more about, because now it's like, okay, now he said that. And we only, to me, got that because Mark was Mark. Imagine us being a host like Nick and Vanessa. We would have never got that. Okay. So to see him throughout, these episodes move and behave like a boy, that Arrested Development, that wherever the trauma happened for him mentally, I think he's still stuck there. But because people just look at it as, oh, you're a cheater, you're selfish, which I have said probably myself in my recaps, okay, not knowing the background, that's what he gets labeled as. And that is one of the key points of my channel, is to look at the deeper things about these shows, relationships, the people behind, who you just see appear on the screen, who they kissing, who they sleeping with, what scenes are being sliced together. Because no one has probably talked about how all those developmental childhood things have affected his ability to show up like a man. And as a man, if you were not raised or given those tools, skills, mentoring, mirroring, this is what you get. Lost. No sense of self. So you also have a partner to me who's just very flat affect, numb in her own ways. And that's what you get when you get Shante and Biron, B. To me, that's what you're getting. In some ways, I feel like they are both kind of lost in different perspectives. Once again, I'm wondering about her own development and how she got here. As much as we have learned and see him become vulnerable, it was very interesting. And I also want to talk about, is her name Amaya? I'm not good over here with names. Okay, Amaya. Amaya is very interesting also, because I feel like in some ways, Amaya represents a more developed, a more confident, a more challenging woman than what Shante is. Not to put these women against each other, I feel like Amaya is a more stable and grown-up version of Shante. And that's why, B and Amaya go back and forth at times, because she challenges him to be better. She's not like some of these other girls we saw in here who just want to be chose, want to be on camera, in the bathroom doing the most. I feel like you have someone with more of a secure attachment style versus two individuals, him and Shante, who have an avoidant attachment style and an anxious. And you bring in that person who has more of a secure attachment style. I think the other girl that he went on a date with, was her name Angel? Similar. different from what he is used to. They both challenge him and see past some of the shenanigans. Okay. And I think he came on this show thinking that he would probably see more of the women he was in the bathroom with and not these women who were more challenging. But look at it. This is a man with an anxious attachment style, no sense of self, trying to figure out who he really is in a situation that brings on just nothing but temptation. I'm already lost. Okay? I'm already trying to figure my life out. You gonna put some candy in front of me? What you think I'm gonna do? Just look at it? I'm not just gonna look at it. Okay? So yeah, I think a lot of these men on this show have avoidant attachment styles. Now, Grant to me also is somebody who is avoidant. But to me, he has some traits, I'm not going to diagnose, some traits of some narcissism. It's all about him. Even the stuff I've seen off the show, because it's hard to avoid all these spoilers, especially now that people are just finding out about the show, just picking up on it. Now that Love is Blind is over. There's so many spoilers out there. It's hard to avoid them. But watching him get online and try and expose Ashley for self, to make me feel better, to make me look like a better person, because the world has a misconception of who I really am. Okay, now I'm gonna put her on blast because that's y'all little princess. That's who y'all think is all good and can do no wrong. But do y'all really know blah, 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 blah? The crash out. Okay, because he cannot take that Ashley has probably not begged him back. Ashley is doing better. The ego. What I tell y'all, that ego gets hurt. And when the ego is hurt, that's when you see men lash out emotionally, sometimes physically, sometimes ultimately taking women's lives because that ego is crushed. And it's hard for a man to come back from a crushed ego. Okay. But Grant to me is once again another boy that I also wonder about the developmental aspects of his life, the mirroring. How was he raised? How did he get here? Was it not having parents? Was it having parents who did too much for him? Because those are all factors in that ego needs to be fulfilled by women. Okay. Now, one of the greatest things to me about these episodes was watching, I believe, Ashley and Taylor really develop relationships with people that they are interested in. Okay. Yamin, okay, Taylor, Danny and Ashley, their dates to me is what we don't see a lot of. A lot of building the foundation of friendship. So many people are quick to run to the title. I just want the girlfriend title, the boyfriend title. I just want to jump in bed with you. I'm all about lust and physical attraction. That no one is focusing on the foundation. What are the seeds we are planting? How are we building us? How am I building myself? How do I build myself? But we want to focus on us and not individuals. So I think if you focus more on individuals, you'll have a healthy relationship. Who am I as a person? What am I working on? What do I need to adjust? And how do I show up in this relationship instead of it always gotta be we, us. We go to the grocery store. We go to the functions. We go to the parties. We are always attached so much that we develop codependency and that we forget who we are outside of we, us. We need differentiations in relationships. Something we don't talk about in couples enough is differentiation. Having your own identity, your own self, and not being so caught up in we, us. Okay. But, spoilers out there about Taylor and, it's spoilers out there. I'm not going to go into the details, but it's good to see what I'm seeing. All right. Taylor really does seem to be enjoying letting go. For her to see her partner on that screen, for her to choose not to send him a message in the box, the silence said it all. And it's interesting because he is, Tyler did not stay there enough to let me sit here and process that she didn't send me anything. It was like, oh, that's my cue to go over there with Kay. Let me do what I'm gonna do. I don't need no more. It's almost as if probably before they came here, he had checked out. And she was holding on to what it could be. Let's improve. Can we do better? Can he do better? When really he wasn't that invested. He really wasn't. Okay. So it was great to see the women finally starting to, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm ready to let go. It's over. Let me have someone come into my life and treat me the way I want and need to be treated. Now we have these other two who, like I've been saying, they're not really doing nothing. Lino and his girl. You can tell Mark don't even really be trying to talk to him because there's nothing going on. And I wonder how it felt for, dang, I don't remember her name, but Lino's girlfriend to be on a date, and they're on a date and she's telling the facilitator of their date, I realized I just want to be with my boyfriend. I'm like, what about me sitting here? What am I, chopped liver? As a man sitting there hearing her say, yeah, I just want to be with my man. That's what I came here for. That's what I realized, that Lino was the one for me. I was like, dang. So I'm just here then. I guess I'm just here. I just wonder how it was for him to just be like, oh, damn. And to her to continue to say, you're my friend. You're my best friend on the island. Really, in some ways, who might see that it was a boundary that she was setting, but the emphasis of always saying, you're my best friend on the island. I'm really making it clear it's not going nowhere. We best friends. We friends. I want Lino. Okay, we are friends. But yeah, watching the girls go to the bonfire versus the men, I do appreciate that this last men's bonfire on this episode, a lot of vulnerability, a different aspect of Biron that we didn't see. And what you see is what I see in a lot of my sessions and on a lot of these TV shows. Men who have no sense of self, who've been through a lot of trauma, and they never talk about it. Because society says you have to be strong. You can't be vulnerable. And to see him up there cry, and it's interesting, he said he needed to go through this experience to, I guess, see how hurt he can hurt his partner and watching her cry. Why do you have to take that much? Why do you have to get here? Why is it for some men I have to see my woman at her lowest, hurt the lowest, for me to finally get that I am part of the problem? That it was all me. It was never her. But let me know your thoughts. Let's run up in the chat. Let's have a conversation. Do you think that it should have gone to this point? Do you see yourself in any of these ladies? In any of these men? Because some of y'all are Shante, Taylor, Ashley, Tyler, Grant. That's some of y'all. But y'all don't want to talk about that. Okay? So let me know your thoughts, because of course we can get into it. And I will see you in the next video. Let me know what other shows should I watch. What y'all want to see me recap. I'm thinking about recapping Adolescence. I'll get some time this week to try and watch it. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.